So I just finished watching Ted season 2 and I'm going to go ahead and give a quick recap of my thoughts on this franchise as a whole. First film I like. It's not like a great film or anything, but I like it. It's good enough. Second film don't like. It's definitely got some moments that I enjoyed and will sometimes revisit on YouTube, but for the most part it definitely was nowhere near as good as the first film, and I thought, okay, well, there's nothing else this franchise can give us. And then season 1 of the show came out and totally surprised me. I honestly think it's better than the first movie. It's probably up there with some of Seth MacFarlane's best comedic work. And now we have Ted season 2. And now that I finished watching it, it's good. It's definitely not as good as Ted season 1. I kind of think we're back to the quality of the first Ted movie, but that's not an insult because, like I said, I like the first Ted movie, and yeah, I liked this season too. Like, it's still undeniably funny. Like, I was definitely laughing a good amount throughout. Nothing was like hilarious, and there were definitely moments that were kind of bad and not funny. Like, some jokes kind of just went on forever, but still, like, I did overall think the comedy here worked. In the first season, I thought that the mom Susan definitely stole the show, and that holds true again here. All of her scenes, I was laughing, was some of the hardest I laughed in the season, and definitely my favorite part of the season was the storyline in episode 7 where she went to jail and did what some and like what she did. Her interactions with all of the prisoners and the guards were very funny and honestly kind of sweet. And like there's not a lot to say about positives, just it's funny. In terms of negatives, there were two flaws that I kind of noticed watching this season, and upon rewatching a few episodes of season 1 I realized were kind of there in the from season 1, and two unique flaws to this season. I'll go over the two flaws that I just noticed now that were also in season 1. One is the editing and the way scenes end can feel very abrupt. Like, scenes in this show don't usually have endings. Usually just they'll get all the jokes they can out of a scene, and then instead of writing an ending for the scene, Seth will be like, "All right, those are all the jokes, end the scene," and it will just feel very abrupt. Like, it especially feels weird when the joke isn't, it's not a great joke it ends on, and it's like, end scene. Or like when something dramatic will happen, then all of a sudden it'll end on a joke, and then hard cut to the next scene. Like, it just feels a bit abrupt, which, again, this is a comedy show, but like, it just doesn't feel it just doesn't feel super natural when that happens. It kind of takes you out of the scene a bit. Second thing I noticed is that there are things that characters say that other characters should probably react to that they don't. Like, sometimes Ted will say something crass or offensive, and sometimes other characters will react, but only really when the story calls for them to react. Other times he'll say something on the same level and characters just won't have a reaction when you think they would. Or like John will say something about like pleasuring himself or smoking weed right in front of his parents and they won't say anything. Like, literally, John and Ted have conversations about smoking weed in front of John's parents, and John's parents just don't react. Like, oh yeah, we didn't pretend we didn't hear that, I guess. Just like, again, it just feels kind of weird, and like, why is this character even in the scene if apparently they're not supposed to react to what the characters are saying? And like I said, season 1 is not ruined because of these flaws. They're just things I kind of noticed when I rewatched a couple episodes of season 1. Like, oh yeah, I guess that was kind of there since the beginning. Not a big deal though. And then the two flaws unique to this season. One, since it is the second season and it seems the final season, which probably for the best, but I'll revisit that at the end. They tried to have some callbacks to season 1. Like, probably the most random example is in season 1 there was this scene where John was trying to go to the bathroom, but he's like, I can't go in front of another guy. And then the guy next to him just goes, it's okay, just relax, let it happen when it happens. John, and then John can urinate, and he's like, thank you. Hey, that is all the thanks I need. And John just goes, Jesus? And the guy just shrugs and walks out of the room. Like that was a pretty funny scene in the original. And then in this season, the guy comes back because John needs a quarter for the vending machine. He's like, "Here you go," tosses him a quarter, and then John again just goes, "Jesus." The guy shrugs and walks away, and that was like, okay, that was just the same joke awkwardly shoehorned into this scene. Felt really weird. And there are a couple of other things like that that are just like pretty blatantly shoved in callbacks to season one. Nothing, funny enough, nothing really awkwardly shoehorned in from the movies. That was more season one's thing. But and the second thing I noticed, character development in throughout this show just does not stick. Like characters would somewhat change in the first season, and like it would kind of stick, but now in season two, they're just not even gonna try and make it stick at all. Like Maddie, like in season one, the Christmas episode was all about him learning to be less prejudiced and more accepting through the journey of his toy truck coming to life and the drama he has with his niece. But now in this season, he's just right back to being prejudiced and being like saying things like an episode just literally opens with him going, "Hey, whoa, whoa, eating eggs after 11, that's gay." Like he has not learned a thing from season one. Apparently, just all that's forgotten. And John, and like also the cousin. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on her name at the moment. She like in the first season, it was a huge deal that she felt really guilty about accidentally introducing John to weed and being like, please, I don't want you to continue taking drugs and just being a pothead all day. Now in this season, she's literally like coming to him like, hey, you got any drugs? I need some weed to study. You got any? And she's like getting high with him and Ted. It's like, I thought you didn't want this for him, but now you're just cool with it. Okay. I don't remember that. I don't remember there being a scene where you're like in the first you're just like, yeah, I'm cool with you getting high now, but like, yeah, her character just doesn't like they're forgetting about anything that makes her really complex. And there were a couple of annoying characters in this season too. Like in season one when they introduce Maddie's brother and like the cousin's dad, it's like he was just really annoying. I did not like him at all. Like nothing he said was really funny. It was just more irritating than anything, which was maybe the point, but I don't know. Maddie can be irritating, but he can also be funny. Like they need to find a good they needed to find a good balance with that character, and they didn't. But still, like despite these flaws, like again at the end of the day, Ted is a comedy show, and as long as it's funny, I think it at least accomplishes its goal. And I think, and this show is funny, even in season two, I still think it's funny. So I will say it accomplished its goal. And one last note I will end on: they're definitely seeming to imply this is the last season. Seth MacFarlane himself has said there's no plans for a season three, and they even end the show with kind of like a little recap saying like what happens in the first two Ted movies. And if this is where the franchise ends, I think this is a good place to stop. Like at first I was kind of weirded out that it's just sort of a normal episode, but then again I'm like, again, it's a franchise about a teddy bear who comes to life and now like smokes pot and does all these horrible things. Like am I expecting a big emotional finale for these characters? Not really. And like I don't need them to keep going. Like now that John and Ted are out of high school, I think we've kind of explored all we can really explore with a Ted prequel. And I don't really want to see more of like them when they're grown up because I think like Ted 2 has shown we've kind of explored all we really can with that. So I think if the franchise is going to end here, which it should, this is a good place to stop. And now I am going to give Ted season 2 a B. And those are my thoughts on the show and I guess the franchise as a whole. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to see more reviews like this in the future. Be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below if you've seen any of the Ted things. And I will see you next time. Have a great day.